Hey everyone, what's going on? Let's talk about the newest Crusader Kings 3 patch, update 1.18.1. This one's been an interesting release. Not a massive overhaul, but a detailed, focused update that really matters if you've been playing the All Under Heaven expansion. Paradox has been rolling out smaller patches to stabilize things after big DLC drops, and this update fits that pattern perfectly. It's not flashy, it's not something that changes your entire strategy, but it's a patch that quietly makes your experience smoother, less buggy, and much more immersive, especially if you've been exploring the new Asian regions that came with the expansion. Now, right off the bat, this update aims at three main goals: fixing stability problems, cleaning up broken event chains, and improving AI behavior. It also throws in a few quality of life touches, including new art assets for East and Southeast Asian rulers, things like hairstyles, clothing, and headgear that make those regions look far more alive. You'll notice this most when you zoom into royal courts or watch event scenes. Characters finally look the part, and it's clear the art team spent time polishing cultural details. One of the most specific fixes in this patch sounds funny at first. 6-year-old children can now attend the children's exam event. If you've been playing in China or Korea, you know that's a pretty big deal for flavor. Before this update, certain events tied to youth education or Confucian traditions just wouldn't trigger correctly, which made the entire experience feel broken. The same goes for coronations. Characters who were supposed to appear at crowning ceremonies sometimes spawned incorrectly or not at all. Both of those event types have been fixed. The difference may seem small, but these are the moments that make Crusader Kings 3 feel like more than just a strategy game. It's about personality, flavor, and immersion, so getting those back in line matters. The patch also squashes a weird little bug where eunuchs could be offered repeatedly in court events. It was immersion breaking and made the game feel off, especially in Eastern courts, where that event triggered more often. Now, the event only shows up when it's actually supposed to. These are the kind of quiet fixes that most people won't even notice unless they were directly annoyed by them before. But they show Paradox paying attention to player feedback, and that's always a good sign. Stability-wise, the patch does a good bit of cleanup. The last version had some rare but nasty startup crashes related to story cycles and certain mod combinations. Those appear to be gone. A few users had trouble with long-running saves suddenly becoming unstable. This patch seems to fix that too. While Paradox didn't overhaul performance in a big way, most players have reported smoother gameplay and fewer random crashes, especially during long play sessions. If you've been avoiding All Under Heaven because of instability reports, it's probably safe to come back now. Let's talk AI for a bit, because that's one of the areas players have been most vocal about. In the earlier patch, the AI struggled with a few crucial things, mainly recruiting men-at-arms properly, upgrading them, and managing gold in sensible ways. Nomadic rulers in particular had issues where they weren't building the armies they should, and that completely broke balance in parts of the map. 1.8.1 specifically targets those behaviors. Nomads now recruit troops more consistently. Coronation and administrative events drain the correct resources from treasuries, and the AI seems less prone to economic suicide. It's not perfect. No AI ever is in a grand strategy game this deep, but it's a noticeable improvement. You'll see more balanced wars, fewer inexplicable bankruptcies, and smarter enemy troop compositions. The balance tweaks also touch men-at-arms in small but important ways. Costs, maintenance, and recruitment logic got tuned to better match the new economy systems introduced in the expansion. It's subtle, but you'll notice that armies feel a bit more realistic. They're not as lopsided, and AI rulers don't abandon troop upgrades as quickly. That makes wars less one-sided and generally more strategic. If you're someone who micromanages your military builds, this patch actually rewards that attention, because the AI is no longer making as many unforced errors. Now, for the East and Southeast Asian editions, those new visuals might seem minor on paper, but they make a world of difference in practice. Paradox added multiple new hairstyles, outfits, and headpieces that reflect the region's history more accurately. When you play as a ruler in the region, the difference is instantly noticeable. Your character portraits feel far more authentic, and when you scroll through courtiers or dynasty members, you can actually see the cultural detail that was missing before. It's one of those updates that doesn't change numbers or stats, but changes the feel of the game, and Crusader Kings thrives on that sort of immersion. For players running ongoing campaigns, there's good news. This patch is save compatible. That means you can continue your current run without starting over. Still, anyone who spent hundreds of in-game years ruling a dynasty knows how fragile long saves can be, so it's always smart to back them up before updating. Copy the save file, maybe zip it and throw it somewhere safe, just in case you need to revert for testing or comparison. Paradox confirmed that this hotfix was designed to maintain compatibility, and so far, the community reports back that saves are loading fine after updating. The community's reaction has been cautiously optimistic. Many players were frustrated that the All Under Heaven expansion shipped with noticeable issues, especially in such an ambitious new region. Paradox, to their credit, pushed this patch out pretty quickly, showing that they're still actively maintaining post-launch support. It's not a content-packed update, it's a stabilizer. Some players are hoping future patches will bring even deeper balance passes or quality of life changes. But for now, most seem happy to see the developers listening and fixing issues fast. If you make or use mods, this is where things get interesting. The modding community tends to lag a little behind patches, especially when expansions add new mechanics. But since this update doesn't fundamentally change the game's framework, most mods that worked with version 1.1 should still run fine. A few mod authors already pushed small compatibility updates just in case. If you're running big overhauls or total conversions, definitely check your workshop subscriptions before loading up a save. It's also worth noting that many mod creators actually appreciate smaller hotfixes like this because they give the game a stable baseline for them to build from, instead of leaving everything in flux for weeks. If you're thinking about how to show this patch off in your own content or streams, here's what works best. Instead of reading patch notes word for word, show the results. Load an older save where a bug used to happen. Maybe that coronation that glitched or the event that didn't fire, and show it now working as intended. Move to a Southeast Asian court and highlight the new outfits and hairstyles. Then, open up the army screen for a nomadic ruler and show how men-at-arms composition has changed. That's the kind of demonstration that makes viewers immediately understand what's new without overwhelming them with lists. The update also indirectly affects how you might plan your next few campaigns. Since the AI behaves better with recruitment and economy management, the difficulty curve feels slightly more balanced again. If you relied on AI kingdoms imploding or self-destructing as part of your long-term power strategies, you might have to adjust. Meanwhile, if you like playing tall and focusing on development and roleplay, these fixes give you a much more stable sandbox to do that in. You'll see fewer strange wars, fewer sudden bankruptcies, and more consistent world evolution. The performance improvements are small but noticeable over long sessions. I've seen fewer stutters in late-game maps and smoother autosaves. Again, this isn't a huge graphics optimization patch, but it clears up enough memory hiccups that marathon players will appreciate it. Paradox games have always been resource-intensive as time progresses and maps fill with data. Any reduction in slowdowns feels like a blessing. Something else you'll want to mention in your video is that this update reflects a larger trend at Paradox. Quicker, smaller patches instead of massive, spaced-out ones. The community has been vocal about preferring this approach. It means fewer long waits with lingering bugs and more incremental improvements that don't break everything else in the process. If this rhythm keeps up, we might see another small patch before the year ends, perhaps addressing lingering AI quirks or introducing another batch of art polish for remaining regions. When you think about what makes Crusader Kings 3 special, the storytelling, the personal drama, the simulation of entire cultures, updates like this one are the foundation that keep all that magic running smoothly. The best part of the game is when stories emerge naturally from systems working as intended. And that's what 1.18.1 does. It restores that invisible glue between systems that holds the simulation together. For those wondering if they should update immediately or wait, the answer is pretty clear. Go ahead and patch. The game's in a stable state, mods are catching up fast, and you'll have a better time exploring the expanded map with the new fixes and visuals. If you're running a multiplayer game, coordinate with your group to make sure everyone's on the same version. The update is light enough that sync issues should be minimal, but it's always smart to check before jumping back into a shared save. When you talk about this patch in your content, make it personal. Mention how it feels to load up an old dynasty and see things working again, or how those little visual touches make the world feel richer. Bring your viewers into that moment of rediscovery. The way Crusader Kings can make even a small fix feel like a fresh coat of paint on an already intricate world. Let them feel your relief when an event that used to bug out now works flawlessly, or your surprise at how much more consistent AI rivals have become. That kind of genuine commentary is what makes patch coverage interesting instead of just informational.